Welcome back to One Glove Podcast. I'm Zaff.
Mona.
And that's Ninja Stitch behind the keyboard. So today we're just going to be talking on the incident that's happened over in Christchurch. We're going to just get straight into it. Don't want to really talk too much about the fights and everything that happened over the weekend. This will be coming from a perspective of someone who used to live in NZ. I was born and raised in NZ, and coming from someone who used to be religious and has quite a few family members that are Muslim. So if you're interested, just keep on listening and let us know in the comments what you're thinking and everything like that. Did you want to start off in terms of what you think and everything?
I mean, well, I think the first initial thing, or the initial thought that came into mind was when you first hear about it, it's just like, nah, I fully dismissed it.
You didn't believe it?
I just didn't believe it. I was just like, that doesn't happen in New Zealand.
Yeah. And
I think I'm not alone in the feeling like that, because it just never really has happened in NZ. We certainly do have our differences between cultures and stuff like that, and New Zealand is by no means perfect with when it comes to racism and stuff like that. But this is just fucking another level.
It's a whole new level.
This shit is just like, holy fuck. And I'm pretty safe to say that our whole country is grieving right now.
Yeah, it's been a really interesting response that I've seen, because the majority of the response is just Australia and New Zealand coming together in grieving. Like, I have quite a few family and a few friends over in NZ. They're thankfully, I've checked in with them and they're all okay. They've had some close calls. Like, there's one guy, he said there was a bomb threat in his area.
What's his area?
I think he lives around Whangarei. He said everything it was kind of surreal. Everyone had to stay indoors. No one was allowed to go outside. Oh, they're advised not to go into public. All the Muslim people were advised not to go to any mosques because they didn't know how many attackers there were and everything like that. At this point in time, I think the death toll is around 50. It's hit 50 now because they've just found another individual. We're not going to be giving the name of the shooter or the face or any of the live.
Let's call him fucktard.
We'll call him fucktard because we don't want to add any kind of celebrity status or anything, which tends to happen with mass shooters and everything like that. The guy's a coward. He's a fucktard. We think.
Well, he's probably more crazy than anything else.
I don't know if he's crazy, because he could just be someone who really had, like, to put it in a weird way, is his life was going nowhere. He wanted to be famous, and this was a way for him to be famous. From what I've heard, he said he wanted to start a new religious war. He's apparently ex-military. So can you just check? I believe he was in the military. And that is why he was so devastating in what he did. And yes, it is 50 people now. I went through and I read quite a few of the names and their stories of the people who died.
Oh my God.
And it's just families. It's just kids, families, mothers, fathers. They're just hardworking people, and they're just innocent people.
I think a lot of people in NZ don't even identify them as like, they don't see Muslim, they see families. That's what they see.
Exactly.
Like, they don't see 50 members of Islam. They see 50 families that have just been destroyed.
Even more actually. Like, it's the Muslim community in NZ. It's only 1% of their population, right? But that's still a lot of people, and they're going to be affected all the way throughout, because it's such a small population. They're going to be highly connected, so it's going to be affecting all reaches of NZ, Australia, Fiji. Like, I know quite a few Fijian Indian Muslims that went over to NZ, because Australia, NZ, they were the main places that they moved. Luckily, my family's up in Auckland and stuff like that.
When you text me asking if my family's all right, I was like, what are you on about? Like, what the fuck? What are you talking about?
Oh, you didn't know at that stage?
I mean, I heard about it, but like I said, It doesn't happen in NZ.
Yeah.
And then you start hearing the stories of the families coming through. The teacher that tried to tackle
Oh
him,
yeah.
and him and his son ended up dying.
Yeah, it's
It's
crazy.
just like
There was
that's intense, man.
there was also a wife who had a disabled husband, had wheeled him up to the men's section, was in the women's section, heard the gunfire, ran out to help him, died before she could get to him.
Yeah,
And it's just
children, women, men.
Yeah.
But he was pulled to safety by other people.
Yeah, he did make it out, but it's just devastating what's happened to the families over there. I want to touch on as well the senator, the Senator Anning, Fraser Anning, sorry. Now, like from in my opinion, what he said is it's pretty disgusting. Like the day of, an incident like this, he goes and basically blames the people who were killed because of other people in other countries who have committed atrocious acts. It's like they're over here and they're living peacefully amongst everyone else, like everyone else. They're just trying to live their life, and then they get caught up in some guy's fantasy, basically, and wants to make himself a hero or make himself a martyr or whatever. And it's just crazy for someone who's meant to represent Australia, because he's a government official, to put it out on like the coat of arms of Australia and Queensland, saying that it's the fault of the people who got killed, and then following it up with a quote of those who live by the sword die by the sword, basically, which is ridiculous because none of these people would be living by the sword.
They went to a place of prayer.
Yeah, exactly, and they were doing it peacefully. And
I think what he's talking about is like the radicalists, like
like ISIS and Al Qaeda,
those
and
guys and all of
yeah.
this. But you can't,
that's
you
over
can't
there.
paint like everyone with the same brush.
Exactly. Yeah,
You
you just can't.
like Christians, like they don't have the cleanest record.
No,
like
by no means.
I mean, like you look at all the wars that they've gone through in the name of Jesus. I'm pretty sure Jesus and God doesn't want us going around fucking stabbing each other. And
I don't know, man. I have a pretty good feeling that's pretty much the message that they don't want. Like, it's the message meant to be love, right? In a lot of religions, and then there's a lot of things. But people have their own interests. Like it's a really weird political thing now. It's turned into as well. Like, immigration is going to come into it in terms of should people be immigrating and all that kind of stuff.
Oh fuck! It's just a big mess, man.
It's a huge mess, and now obviously New Zealand's going through. If they're going to have gun reform,
definitely
they probably will. I think follow suit with Australia and just not have the assault rifles and tighten up the gun legislation, because we haven't had really anything of that like mass level happen since Port Arthur, and this is the first instance, I believe, for New Zealand of this scale.
This is going to be one of the darkest days in New Zealand history. It's fucking terrible, man. Like just seeing all even the people that helped out. Like there's a fella Len, I forgot his last name. I saw him on a report, and he saved 5 people, and like he's given his report, like he's saying what he did, and he was trying to help a dude, but he just couldn't get enough leverage, and then he's breaking up while he's talking to the reporter, and one of the most like the point of breaking is when he's saying he's going out to the street and he tried to help a lady, and he saw the dude backing out in his car, and he's seen a pair of legs fly up, and then what he realized is that the dude shot the lady and ran her over, and he goes, she was broken in half, and he was just like, that dude is scarred for life, man.
That dude is brave as well to go and help people when most people would only consider themselves.
Why wouldn't you help someone?
Because you'd be just stricken with fear, man. Like people around you getting shot. I can understand both the people who went to help others and both the people who just tried to stay safe, because you have to consider yourself and your family.
Yeah.
You know, if you die, your family loses, you know, a parent or something or a kid. And then the guy who committed the act is like, he's a coward. Like,
oh man,
it's just
twisted, dude.
He's gone and he's done this to people who not armed. They're just minding their own business peacefully, and he's planned it. He's done it at a time where he knows there's going to be a lot of people in prayer because it was on a Friday afternoon when they have, you know, quite a few.
I think
people
that's
come through.
the really insidious thing about it.
The intent.
Yeah.
He's
planned it out. He spent 2 years doing it.
2 years?
Spent 2 years planning it. He went to NZ. He crossed over to NZ 2017. He sent out a manifesto to the Prime
police.
Minister.
Yeah, and
Like
9 minutes before.
before he carried it out.
To a generic email.
Yeah.
So he didn't. The Prime Minister. Prime Minister didn't get it.
Oh, didn't she?
No, they got it. They got it
No,
9
they
minutes
got it.
before because it was to multiple people.
Yeah.
Within 5 minutes, they had notified everyone, but it's just not enough time. And 9 minutes before an attack,
But what I'm saying is, it was to a generic email, like one
Yeah.
of the things. So
and he didn't put any location, he didn't put the targets or anything like that.
Just a twisted dude, man.
Yeah.
Like, did you see his guns?
Yeah, they were.
Like he's written the names of people that he idolizes, so other terrorists and white supremacists.
Oh,
and
see,
all
I
that.
didn't know
That's
what was the names.
pretty fucked up.
That's
like,
intense and
really intense, right?
yeah, for just it's a lot to happen in such a peaceful place. You'd think, like,
Yeah, man. Like just never in a million years. Not in New Zealand.
yeah, like
Just-
every country has its crime and its minor
Yeah.
crime or whatever, personalized crime, but this is a whole like you said, a whole nother level.
For the most, it's like everyone's pretty welcome in NZ, man. Like it's like that. You know, it doesn't matter whether you're Muslim or Catholic or fucking. You know, it doesn't matter if you're Indian, South African, or
Yeah, it's a
Fijian
mixed
Indian,
culture
like,
place. Yeah,
It's crazy, you know. Like everyone is welcome, you know. And like just before, man, I was watching. I sometimes look up huckers on YouTube. No, I didn't see that. But like this one haka in particular, I was watching. It was two high schools because they've got like these traditional games. It's like one side, I think it's called King's College in Auckland, and they're all doing the haka, and their whole school is there, and it's everyone. It's
In the
not
whole
just
school.
Maori people.
oh,
There's
right.
white people. There's
Yeah.
Chinese, Asian people. There's Fijian Indians in their school hard. Maori, doing a Maori haka, and like you see them, and they're fucking going for it. See,
Yeah.
that's NZ right there.
Yeah.
Everybody together.
Yeah.
you know, and like that.
On
And for this to happen, it's just like
Even on the topic of hakas, man, like I saw a few videos of people who went to the sites and they did the haka, facing the mosque in respect of all the people who had passed and everything. Obviously, the police and the Prime Minister and everything, they're doing an amazing job trying to keep everything together at the moment. I'm actually really impressed with the Prime Minister over there.
Yeah. What's that thing? The head piece?
The
Hijab?
burqa,
What's
or
it
the
called?
hijab. It depends on which one. If it's a full face with just the eyes, it's burqa.
Yeah.
If it's just that, like the face showing still, it's a hijab.
Hijab.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought that was pretty brave of just, I think it's Jacinda. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jacinta.
Ardern.
Yeah. Jacinda, sorry.
She's
To show solidarity.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Like,
It's just a really nice gesture, you know?
and I do like how people have come together and like there's some people who are trying to be divisive in this and trying to make the divide, and they want it to be them and us, but it's like we're all in it together.
Yeah.
There's family and friends and stuff who've died, and they're like, be respectful of the people. Like people are, like you said before when we were talking outside the podcast, there's just some keyboard warriors out there who
Oh, yeah, man.
just have to put in their 2 cents about people had this coming and blaming victims. It's like, you have to consider these are just people.
Yeah. They're not like radicalists. They're just everyday
Yeah, if anything,
Yeah.
like they're the moderate, like people who are just there to live their lives
Yeah, man. And peace.
whilst being in a religion. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's just crazy. Is there
I don't
anything
get
else you
it.
wanted to touch on?
Oh, yeah, actually, I do. I do want to say something. Like, okay, so for all these radicalists and all that, these fucking crazy cunts out there, just okay, let's just say they get what they want. Okay.
Like a huge war type of thing, you mean? Or
No. So, like, they all wish for something. So, like, you know, the white supremacists want to have a whitewashed world.
Oh, right, yeah.
Type thing. Let's just say they get that, right? Then what?
Then what? Yeah.
Like, they can't live in peace because they don't know what that is.
No.
All they've got around them was all these like hateful things and all the rest of it. So, okay, you have your war or holy war, whatever the fuck you want to call it. Then what?
Yeah. Where are you gonna go?
What are you
from
gonna
there?
do?
Yeah.
What's gonna happen is they'll fucking turn on each other
Oh yeah.
because they'll find something to hate about each other. You know, it'll probably be something stupid like, oh, you're not a real skinhead because you got an inch of hair left. You're not bald to the scalp. That's
Yeah.
what a real skinhead is.
Yeah.
You know, like or like you get these Al Qaeda fellas or whatever, and they get what they want. You know, what did they want?
They kind of want
Basically the same.
in a
It's a
way.
very complex thing.
It's very complex.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So let's say they get what they want. They've terrorized everyone around them. Everyone's fucking shit scared and all the rest of it. Then what?
Yeah.
What are you gonna do now, man? Like you've just fucked the world over.
Yeah.
Now
It's
what?
just, and it's also, it's not going to happen. We're too diverse as
Yeah,
just a species. We're too diverse.
yeah.
Like, there's things we're going to agree on and not agree on. Like, you and I, we don't agree on everything, right? But
Yeah.
we're friends.
Yeah.
Because we have healthy discussion and we keep it at that. We don't-
Sometimes jokes.
No. But yeah, like that, like people need to realize that you can have differences and you can still be friends. I have friends who are religious, non-religious, you know, of all different faiths as well, all throughout.
This is we're not the first ones to say this. So
No,
we're not like breaking through anything.
No, we're not.
But like, why is it that like, you know, death? The toll always has to be death in order for us to be like, oh fuck, maybe
Maybe it's too far. Yeah.
we've gone a bit. You know,
Yeah.
like, I think I got that from a comedian.
Trevor
What's his
Noah?
name? No. Hassan Minaj.
Oh yeah.
Because he speaks on he does a show and he does a segment where his Muslim faith, you know, and it was around 9/11,
Yeah.
and his family got targeted, like, and he was in his house having dinner, and then, like, you know, they get a phone call, and he goes, oh, pardon my language here, but like, he goes, hey, you saying, nigga, where's Bin Laden? You know,
Yeah.
like just these yokels are fucking
Yeah.
screaming at his dad, and his dad's picture, like, what's going on? And then they hear bang, bang, and like someone's throwing
Bricks.
bricks through the car window.
Yeah.
you
That's
know?
just
And he makes a great point. He says, why is it that it has to be death
that ends up bringing us together.
that brings us together?
Yeah. Why can't we do
We
it in
all
peace?
know that racism is bad. We all know that we should all respect each other and all
Yeah.
the rest of it. So, well, it's these, like, these minorities that, you know, these fucking radicalists and all that shit that wreck it for everyone.
Yeah.
But like everyone, all the innocents are getting persecuted for these retards. You know?
Yeah, it's pretty disgusting. I do want to touch on the kid who egged.
Oh, Eggman!
Yeah, Eggman. Now,
What a
like-
legend!
yeah, the kid's kind of a legend now. He's been made into a hero and everything. Like, I want to say he shouldn't have done it because
Technically, it's assault.
it's technically assault.
I don't
But
think he thought it
it's-
through.
It's so satisfying to see, but what what you have to be careful of is becoming your enemy in a way of like trying to shut down what they say through physical means, right?
Yeah.
Like saying something and then doing something are very different things.
Yeah.
I guess something that's also like, if you're like Muslim individual at this time, you actually have to be very careful about what you say, because you'll quickly be labeled as a terrorist or someone who's assigned with a terrorist much quicker, or a fanatic, much quicker than the guy who just committed that act. You know, like even in the English tabloids, they're saying he was this bright, lovely kid who, you know, turned sour somehow. They're trying to humanize him, right? Which is, I found very unusual. Like, if anything, don't humanize him. Like,
don't even talk about
don't
him.
talk about him. Don't talk about him is a hard thing to do, because just saying we shouldn't be talking about him is talking about him, right? But what you shouldn't be doing is plastering his face and his
Giving
name
him a
everywhere,
platform,
giving him a platform, making him a celebrity. I don't think that's going to benefit anyone. What you should be doing is highlighting the families who've been affected, tell their stories like some people have been doing, and you know, direct it towards the victims rather than directing it to the person who committed the act.
Well, a lot of things have been going up and on social media to do with that as well. Like there's a lot of sincerity and like grief stricken messages. Like I think one of the ones that I first came across, and there's a picture of a Māori laddie and a Muslim lady, and they're both crying together, and he goes, "This is like, I mean, this is your home too. You know, you should have been safe."
Yeah.
Like there's a ton of those messages going out instead of like string that cunt up, you know, and which is stuff like that. Yeah. Right there. That picture there. Yeah.
You know, moss around the world.
Solidarity, you know, so like heaps of stuff is, and that's, I'm happy to see that kind of stuff. That's
even
cool.
You know, I was reading somewhere that there was a collective day where everyone came together. It was Catholic churches, Christians, Muslims, Hindus, whatever, and they all came together to grieve. Yeah. And I don't know, that's like the good that's come out of it, even though it's in such a bad situation.
The most interesting thing for me has been, I had a realization the other day that it could have very easily been Zaff. Zaff only stopped being religious a few years ago. He had a philosophical journey, and he decided that being Muslim wasn't conducive with his beliefs. But his family members, a lot of his families are Muslim. His brother goes to the mosque quite frequently, and Islam is a big part in his life. It's helping him transform himself. And it very, very easily could have been Zaff, could have been any of his family. And that was a crazy realization that I had the other day. That it could have touched anyone. And
it's just they're just normal people, and that's the worst bit of it. It's just like this guy, he wants to start another whole holy war and everything.
Fuck for.
And why? Like, what good did it do last time? You know what I mean? Like, just if you want to go in a war, go back into the military and go over there and fight the ones who are actually, you know, doing damage.
And it's important to note that it's had the opposite effect.
Yeah.
I feel like it's galvanized people, brought them together.
Yeah.
Given them the feeling of solidarity when maybe they felt alienated from each other before.
Yeah.
Because of what mainstream media has put out. Now mainstream media cannot put out those messages because they're not politically correct. And finally, rather than having an adversary, they're seeing neighbors, they're seeing brothers and sisters, and their compassion, they're feeling compassionate for these people. And maybe some people have never felt compassionate towards Muslims before, and that is just, it's had the complete opposite effect to what was I don't really know what his intentions were, but you know, obviously
I will say, like, this mass shooting has probably affected me more than any other one of recent time, because it's so close to home. And like, you know, I always feel like it's a waste of life whenever it happens. But this one was just, I don't know, man. It's just hit me more than any other one because it's like across the road almost. It feels like that it's happened. You know what I mean? And for you, it's even closer.
Yeah, fuck yeah. It's just like, the whole nation's.
Yeah, I am.
Not the whole nation. What more can you say?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have heard that they're thinking of taking it straight to the death penalty for the guy. I think, like, yes, make an example, but I think that might be him getting off too easy.
He's obviously mentally ill.
He might be mentally ill, or he might just be a radicalist, like, because he's a white supremacist. They're not necessarily mentally ill. They just people with different beliefs, but to the extreme, and that's taking him to a dark place.
A person who can shoot a child is mentally ill.
Yeah.
And you cannot kill the mentally ill.
Yeah.
Don't make him a martyr as well.
No, you don't make him a martyr, but I think making him an example of anyone who thinks that they should do something similar might be worth it in this case. Like, it's someone that they know has definitely done the act, but then at the same time, is he getting off too easy because he dies and then that's it for him? There's no long-term suffering for him like there is for the families who've been affected by it. So would 50 years of solitary confinement be a more realistic and more acceptable punishment for something like this?
About 50 years of servitude to the Muslim community.
I was just thinking that cleaning their toilets, make them clean.
Oh,
no,
no. Like hanging out with the families that he's destroyed.
I don't know if
that would be traumatic for the families.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, probably, but like,
I don't know if we'd get through to him as well because if he's that fanatical, for you to break through on someone like that.
Well, if you're surrounded by that much grief,
maybe
for that.
If he's psychopathic, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's true.
There's no empathy there.
Yeah.
So,
he didn't seem very empathetic in the courtroom.
No, he didn't want a lawyer or anything. Is there anything you want to touch on, or do you just want to finish it up, or?
Yeah, like I just want to finish with like this another quote from another comedian. Now, like, it's not funny,
no,
and it's real cheesy. It's Jim Jeffries, a famous Australian comedian, and he does a segment on gun control.
Yeah,
right. But he finishes it off with this real powerful piece, and he goes all serious, and he says, "You can't beat hate with hate.
No,
you can't do it. The only thing that can beat hate is love."
Exactly.
Yeah. So, and as cheesy as that sounds, he's right. Yeah. But
yeah. See,
so I feel cheesy saying it, but yeah, he's on the money with that one. But like you were saying at the start, giving this dude a platform is not the way to go. Whether we're doing it right now, I don't know. But like, you just gotta try and pull through this dark time, man. It's like
I think
I hope more stuff comes out with the families and stuff.
That'd be good too. And I'm sure a GoFundMe or something like that will be popping up for you.
There's already one that's raised over like millions, I think.
That's So can we just see what the name of the GoFundMe is so we can chuck it up? If anyone is watching, just go to the GoFundMe and donate if you can afford to.
Not that one.
Not that one?
No, he doesn't need 400
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. The Egg Boy has his own GoFundMe for lawyers' fees and more eggs. But we'll put the link to the GoFundMe if we can find it in the description anyways. So you can go there if you can afford to donate. I think that's pretty much everything that we needed to touch on.
Yeah.
It's already received.
That's 2.1 million donation from Chinese visitors.
That's incredible.
Ooh.
That's incredible. 2.1 million. I am actually quite like happy with how people have been together in this.
Yeah, man. Really, really cool, man.
Yeah.
Like,
Alrighty, well, I don't think we're saying anything new at the moment, so we can probably just wrap it up from here.
thanks, Podcast Universe, for listening to us.
Yeah, thanks for giving us time. If you listened all the way through, if there's anything you want us to talk on, if you want to hear our opinion on, put it in the comments. So this is the One Glove Podcast. I'm Zaff.
I'm Mono.
And that's Stitch behind the keyboard. And we'll catch you in the next one.
Later. Peace.
Peace.
Stay safe, everyone.
Stay safe.